Absolutely, he needs money.
You think he's going
Once
broke?
again, come on. Fighters like that always go broke.
He's always spending, so I guess.
Absolutely.
Floyd Mayweather made over $1.2 billion in boxing. And Oscar de la Hoya is telling the world that Money Mayweather can't even pay his trash bill. The man who called himself the richest fighter alive is now drowning in lawsuits, tax liens, unpaid rent, and $54 million in secret loans. And de la Hoya saw it coming years before anyone else did.
Absolutely. Look, he's not fighting anymore, so that big money's not coming in. Look at what happened to Mike Tyson. He made what, $500 million?
Oscar de la Hoya has stunned everyone after revealing Floyd Mayweather's biggest hidden truth. He's broke. Yes, really. The man known for flash and money is facing tough days. So how did Mayweather shift from a billionaire lifestyle to chasing cash? Let's get into it. De la Hoya and Mayweather, a feud that sparked everything. De la Hoya has been saying Mayweather is broke since 2018. Each time he repeats it, more financial clues start to appear. It all began on October 18th, 2018. De la Hoya was inside the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles celebrating Canelo Alvarez signing what he described as the largest sports deal ever. A $365 million agreement with Golden Boy Promotions and DAZN. Then one reporter questioned him about Mayweather. That moment changed everything, and the story was just getting started.
Called Mayweather a broke fraud and told him to stay under his rock.
Floyd, stay under your rock, dude.
Now,
Oscar de la Hoya didn't stop there.
bout billed as the world awaits, the fight drew approximately 2.4 million pay-per-view buys, generating roughly $136 million in PPV revenue alone. The live gate reached a then-record $19 million. Total revenue crossed $130 million. At that point, it was the most lucrative boxing match in history. De La Hoya walked away with approximately $52 million. Mayweather walked away with approximately $25 million and a split decision win that preserved his undefeated record. The judges scored it 115, 112, 113, 112, and 116 to 111 in Mayweather's favor. De La Hoya lost on the cards, but as the promoter, he had already won at the bank. That is the foundation of De La Hoya's attitude toward Mayweather. He sees himself as the man who built the platform. In a March 2025 appearance on the PBD podcast, De La Hoya claimed he negotiated.
Oscar de la Hoya didn't stop there.
Mayweather had done them against Logan Paul, against various influencers, and in August 2024, he stepped into the ring in Mexico City against John Gotti III. What happened next gave De La Hoya exactly the opening he needed. The bout was unsanctioned and non-scored. It ended with crowd boos and no official result. De La Hoya posted a response on Instagram on August 31st, 2024. He described what he said happened inside the ring, that in the second round, Mayweather had the referee replaced because he did not like being told to stop hitting behind the head. De La Hoya said, "Floyd is used to having the refs do whatever he wants, and he wasn't getting his way this time. It was so embarrassing." Then he shifted his tone. What started as criticism turned into something that sounded almost like concern, but carried a very specific message buried inside it. De La Hoya said, "Floyd, you're 50 years old. You're a legend in this sport, and I've stood up for you in countless interviews, including Shannon Sharp's podcast last week. But you have to stop embarrassing yourself with these exhibitions. I know life is hard and life is expensive, but come on, put your legacy first. Nobody wants to remember you like this. Life is hard and life is expensive." That line became the headline. It was the clearest public statement De La Hoya had made, connecting Mayweather's exhibition exhibition choices to financial pressure. He was not reading from a financial report. He was drawing a conclusion from what he saw. A 50-year-old legend doing unsanctioned exhibitions in Mexico against a Gotti with crowd boos and referee disputes. To De La Hoya, the math was obvious. These exhibitions do not carry record risk. They do carry pay. And De La Hoya's argument was simple. A man who does not need money does not keep doing this. Then came 2026, and the Pacquiao situation made everything louder. A rematch between Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao was originally scheduled for September 19th in 2026 at the Sphere in Las Vegas. The dispute was about format. Mayweather reportedly wanted an exhibition, no official record, no risk to 50-0. De La Hoya responded in a widely shared clip. He said, "Fight a real fight. You're still trying to protect your O." Then he went further. Yes, you're 50-0 on paper, but people know you've lost. And then he pulled out the 2007 fight again. Your own father said you lost against me. This is a reference De La Hoya has made more than once. He claims that after their 2007 fight, Mayweather's own father came to him and told him he had won.
Especially
Oscar De La Hoya made his message clear. When the big money slows down, even top earners can run out fast. He labeled Floyd Mayweather a fake and told him to stay hidden.
What the paper trail actually shows. In December 2025, Business Insider published an investigation titled Inside Floyd Mayweather's Lavish, Debt-Filled Post-Boxing Life. The reporters reviewed hundreds of pages of public records, court filings, county property records, loan documents, tax notices, FAA records, and civil lawsuits filed across multiple jurisdictions. Every claim in the piece was tied to a verifiable public document. No anonymous sources, no leaked bank statements, just public records, and those records told a specific story. Mayweather's career produced an estimated $1.2 billion in boxing earnings. He retired in 2017 at 50. In 2021, he sat for an interview and made his position clear.
I'm financially set. I want to let everybody know this. He said in 2021, every property I have is paid for. My jet, paid for. All my cars is paid for.
By 2024 and 2025, the public records showed a different picture. Loan documents filed with county recorders showed that Mayweather secured a
Now this was 2018. Floyd Mayweather had officially stepped away in 2017 after defeating Conor McGregor. The exhibition fights hadn't really kicked off yet. The legal issues hadn't stacked up yet. The liens weren't out in the open yet. Oscar De La Hoya was taking shots without clear targets. But sometimes, even blind shots connect. To see why De La Hoya believed he had the right to say all this, you have to rewind to 2007, because that fight is where everything between them truly started. On May 5th, 2007, De La Hoya and Mayweather faced off at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas in a bout promoted as The World Awaits. The fight pulled around 2.4 million pay-per-view buys, bringing in close to $136 million from PPV alone. The live gate hit a record $19 million at the time. Overall revenue went past $130 million. Back then, it became the highest-earning fight in boxing history. De La Hoya walked away with about $52 million. Mayweather took home roughly $25 million along with a split decision victory that kept his undefeated streak intact. The judges scored at 115-112, 113-112, and 116-111 in favor of Mayweather. De La Hoya may have lost on the scorecards, but as the promoter, he already secured the bigger win financially. That's the root of how De La Hoya views Mayweather. He believes he was the one who built the stage. In a March 2025 appearance on the PBD podcast, De La Hoya claimed he arranged a 90-10 split in his favor and said that before their fight, Mayweather was only making $2 to $3 million per bout on undercards. According to De La Hoya, that 2007 event is what transformed Mayweather into Money Mayweather. There's also the rematch situation that De La Hoya still talks about. The original agreement included a one-year rematch clause. De La Hoya has said that Mayweather knew exactly how to handle that situation.
Last month, a $568 lien was put on his mansion for unpaid trash collection.
Aviation.
The retirement, Oscar de la Hoya says, was all part of a calculated move.
Texas aviation fuel suppliers sued Mayweather companies in June over what they said was 137,000 unpaid bills, which is jet fuel for his jet. FAA records showed that a lien was placed on the aircraft for another 358,000 for maintenance work.
Then,
The rematch never happened. From that point on, the rivalry between Oscar de la Hoya and Floyd Mayweather stopped living inside the ring and moved into interviews, social media, and press conferences. De la Hoya began positioning himself as the man Mayweather still owed a second fight to, and the one who could see through the money persona better than anyone else. That 2018 rant became the foundation. Everything that came after made it sound less like talk and more like a warning. And all of it stayed tied to Mayweather's post-retirement life and the choices De La Hoya kept criticizing. As time went on, the pressure only increased. After 2018, De La Hoya stayed watching closely while Mayweather kept handing him more material. By 2024, Mayweather was fully locked into exhibition fights. These bouts had no official record, no governing bodies, and no effect on his 50-0 legacy. He had already stepped in with Logan Paul and other influencers, and in August 2024 he traveled to Mexico City to fight John Gotti III. What happened there gave De La Hoya the perfect opening. The bout was unsanctioned and not officially scored. It ended in disorder with the crowd booing and no official result recorded. Soon after, De La Hoya reacted on Instagram on August 31st, 2024. He claimed that in round 2, Mayweather had the referee replaced because he didn't like being warned about punches to the back of the head. De La Hoya said Floyd was used to referees bending to his will, but this time it didn't happen. He called it embarrassing. Then his tone changed. What began as criticism slowly shifted into something that sounded like concern, but still carried a clear message.
Mayweather countersued the dealer, claiming the vehicle was defective. Separate lawsuits from jewelry retailers accused him of failing to pay for millions of dollars worth of high-end watches and gold items. One Miami jeweler's complaint referenced a Patek Philippe and Richard Mille models.
He also faced a string of lawsuits and liens that say he owes money for a Mercedes Maybach G-Wagon. Wait, they make Maybach G-Wagons? What the fuck? Jet fuel, which obviously is for his jet, and garbage collection at his Las Vegas mansion.
Life is hard and life is expensive. That line became the main headline. It was the strongest public link Oscar de la Hoya ever made between Floyd Mayweather's exhibition fights and financial pressure. He wasn't quoting any report. He was reading the situation the way he saw it. A 50-year-old boxing legend still stepping into unsanctioned exhibitions in Mexico City, dealing with crowd chaos, referee arguments, and no official results. To De La Hoya, it all added up. These fights don't risk his record, but they do bring in money, and his point was straightforward. A fighter who is truly set for life doesn't keep taking these kinds of bouts. Then 2026 arrived, and the situation around Manny Pacquiao made everything even louder. A rematch between Mayweather and Pacquiao was initially planned for September 19, 2026, at the Sphere in Las Vegas. The disagreement came down to the format. Reports suggested Mayweather wanted it to be an exhibition again, with no official record and no risk to his 50-0 legacy. Oscar de la Hoya reacted in a clip that quickly spread everywhere.
Al Heyman, Mayweather's longtime former advisor and manager, was not named as a defendant.
This is a claim Oscar de la Hoya has repeated several times. He says that after their 2007 fight, Floyd Mayweather's father approached him and told him he believed de la Hoya had actually won.
Including one tied to Mayweather's tax attorney, Jeff Morris.
Whether that conversation happened exactly as described is something only the people involved truly know. But Oscar de la Hoya has stayed consistent with the story, and he often brings it up whenever the rivalry with Floyd Mayweather heats up again. For him, it becomes another piece of evidence in a bigger narrative. The 2026 Manny Pacquiao situation also reopened the old rematch argument. In De La Hoya's view, it highlights a pattern where Mayweather avoids high-risk fights while still taking the biggest financial opportunities. From his perspective, The debate over the Pacquiao rematch format was just another example of something he has been pointing to since 2011. Across 2018, 2024, and 2026, De La Hoya's message has stayed the same. He believes Mayweather's post-retirement decisions, exhibitions, contract disputes, and carefully chosen matchups are all shaped by a need to keep income flowing without ever putting the perfect record in danger. He has never shown financial documents to prove it, but in December 2025, outside analysis added a new layer. That month, Business Insider published an investigation titled Inside Floyd Mayweather's Lavish, Debt-Filled Post-Boxing Life. The report was based entirely on public records, including court filings, property records, loan documents, tax notices, FAA records, and civil lawsuits across several states. According to the investigation, everything was backed by documented filings, not anonymous claims or leaked bank statements. Those records painted a very specific picture. Mayweather's career earnings were estimated at around $1.2 billion. He retired in 2017 at 50-0. Then in 2021, he addressed his financial position in an interview and made his stance.
Was Whack 100, a man who describes himself as Mayweather's business partner.
Floyd is definitely not broke. Floyd is wealthy. You and I are broke compared to Floyd Mayweather.
Definitely. You know where Floyd is rich at right now?
What's that?
His peace of mind.
Whack 100 addressed the public records directly, the issue of things not being in Mayweather's name.
You're not gonna find nothing in Floyd's name directly. You're not gonna find, when you're dealing with that type of money and those type of situations, you know this, Vlad, it's set up. It could be a foundation, a trust.
Yeah.
By 2024 and 2025, the public records were showing a different side of the story. Loan filings submitted to county record offices indicated that Floyd Mayweather secured around $54 million in financing from specialty lender Don Hankey through entities linked to Hankey Investment Group, with an interest rate of about 9%. His attorney told Business Insider that the money was meant to support other business ventures.
The tax bills, the scandals, and the mirror. Mayweather's tax.
The collateral behind that loan stood out the most. It reportedly included 14 residential properties owned by Floyd Mayweather or his companies, his Las Vegas strip club girl collection, and his private Gulfstream jet. The financing was structured as cross-collateralized debt, meaning the loan was backed by a combined pool of assets rather than separate loans tied to each individual property. In simple terms, the exposure was broad. A default in one part of the agreement could potentially put multiple assets at risk at the same time. According to the structure described in the filings, parts of the debt were secured across several holdings instead of being isolated, which increased the overall risk profile. The public record trail didn't end there. It also showed 2 commercial property foreclosures in the previous 18 months. In addition, Clark County, Nevada tax records indicated that the building housing the girl collection faced possible tax sale or further enforcement action due to more than $52,000 in unpaid property taxes and penalties. Then there was the mansion. In late 2025, a lien of about $3,000 was reportedly placed on Floyd Mayweather's main Las Vegas residence tied to unpaid garbage.
2017, he paid the IRS $22 million in back taxes, records show.
That
Aviation records added even more detail. A Texas-based aviation fuel supplier filed a lawsuit in June 2025 against companies linked to Floyd Mayweather, seeking payment of roughly $137,000 for unpaid fuel services. On top of that, FAA aircraft lien records from July 2025 showed an additional $358,000 lien placed on his Gulfstream jet for maintenance and related services.
In 2023, he settled with the IRS to pay $5.5 million in back taxes and another $1.1 in penalties, according to a settlement filed in U.S. tax court.
Mayweather's own accountant from the early 2000s had seen the pattern form.
Then there were disputes involving luxury purchases. A Las Vegas car dealership filed a lawsuit against Floyd Mayweather over an alleged unpaid balance on a Mercedes-Maybach G-Wagon valued at around $1.2 million. Mayweather responded with a countersuit, claiming the vehicle had defects. In separate cases, Jewelry businesses also accused him of not paying for high-end watches and gold pieces worth millions. One Miami-based jeweler's complaint specifically mentioned Patek Philippe and Richard Mille timepieces.
Dave Hall, Mayweather's accountant in early 2000, said Mayweather spent heavily without selling aside enough to pay his taxes.
In early February 2026, another lawsuit emerged in Manhattan real estate records. Court documents showed a claim from the management company of a luxury duplex, alleging that Floyd Mayweather owed more than $330,000 in unpaid rent, along with additional damages. The total claim reportedly exceeded $515,000 once fees and interest were included. The filing stated that payments began falling behind around July 2025 on a monthly lease described as 6 figures. The Business Insider investigation did not label Mayweather as bankrupt. Instead, it described signs of cash flow pressure tied to high ongoing expenses, along with reliance on debt and exhibition events to maintain liquidity. The outlet also stood by its reporting after Mayweather later pursued legal action, emphasizing that its claims were based entirely on public court documents and government records available to anyone. Mayweather's response came through the legal system rather than public statements. On February 3, 2026, a 25-page complaint was filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court against Showtime Networks, Inc., and former Showtime Sports president Steven Espinoza. The suit sought at least $340 million in compensatory damages, along with punitive damages. The filing included claims such as aiding and abetting breach of fiduciary duty, civil conspiracy to commit fraud, conversion, and unjust enrichment. Al Haymon was not named as a defendant. The complaint reportedly excluded him out of personal consideration, but still centered on allegations that he orchestrated a long-running scheme involving Showtime and Espinoza, who were accused of knowingly participating in improper financial activity. According to the filing, the allegation was that fight revenues were not always paid directly to Mayweather. Instead, large portions were allegedly routed to third-party accounts linked to Haymon and associates, including one connected to Mayweather's tax attorney, Jeff Morris. These transfers were described as being masked through labels like reimbursements, loan payoffs, or business expenses, allowing funds to be redirected without full transparency or authorization. The bouts referenced in the complaint included the major Showtime-era fights: Robert Guerrero, Canelo Alvarez, Marcos Maidana twice, Manny Pacquiao, Andre Berto, and Conor McGregor. These events represented the peak earning years of his career. The 2015 Pacquiao fight and 2017 McGregor bout were highlighted as record-breaking moments in boxing revenue history. The filing also pointed to what it described as a web of concealed accounts, unauthorized transfers, and incomplete financial disclosures. It alleged that requests for detailed fight-by-fight accounting from Showtime were repeatedly denied or met with claims that records were unavailable or archived. Court documents cited Mayweather's career earnings as exceeding $1.2 billion in total purses, with the Showtime era accounting for a major share of his highest-grossing events. The $340 million figure was presented as the estimated minimum amount allegedly unaccounted for or diverted. The argument at the center of the suit was simple. Mayweather was not financially strained due to poor spending, but because, according to the filing, significant money had been taken or redirected by others. Running alongside this, Mayweather also filed a separate $100 million defamation lawsuit against Business Insider and one of its reporters, directly targeting the December 2025 investigation. He claimed the publication contained false and damaging statements about his financial affairs, harming his reputation, credit standing, and future business opportunities. The suit demanded damages, a public retraction, and limits on further reporting. Business Insider maintained its position, again stating that all information was sourced from verified public records. Meanwhile, individuals close to Mayweather offered their own interpretations.
Left the ring, he parted ways with Al Haymon, his longtime boxing manager, and Leonard Ellerbe, the longtime CEO of Mayweather Promotions. His uncle
WAC 100 addressed the public records directly, focusing on claims that certain assets and holdings were not listed under Floyd Mayweather's name.
doesn't seem to have the guardrails that were in place. Mark Trados, a Las Vegas attorney who represented Mayweather during his professional fighting career in various business and legal matters, told the Business Insider, when you've got professionals that are doing the right thing for you, you're a little bit better protected. When you're out there on your own, your protection is dropped.
Now here's where the story shifts. Because while Oscar de la Hoya has spent years pointing at the finances of Floyd Mayweather, his own situation in 2026 tells a parallel story. In late January 2026, public real estate filings showed that Golden Boy Promotions had defaulted on a commercial mortgage-backed securities loan originally valued at $27 million, secured against its headquarters at 626 Wilshire Boulevard in downtown Los Angeles. The notice of default indicated roughly $23 million still owed. The building is a 12-story office property of around 150,000 square feet. Golden Boy Promotions has occupied the second floor since the early 2000s, and de la Hoya himself signed the loan documents as CEO. The loan originated in 2015 with a maturity date of July 2025, which was ultimately missed. The property then moved into special servicing before the formal default notice was issued. Appraisals tied to the financing reportedly valued the building at about $19 million in 2025, a major drop from its roughly $40 million valuation at refinancing in 2015. At the time of the default, the property was also about 40% vacant. Alongside the business side, de la Hoya's personal history has also been widely documented. In November 2007, the same year he fought Floyd Mayweather, photos surfaced showing him in women's clothing. He initially denied their authenticity, but later confirmed in interviews around 2011 that the images were real, describing the period as one involving serious substance abuse issues. He also acknowledged struggles with alcohol and drugs at the time, along with infidelity. The incident led to a lawsuit seeking $100 million, which was later settled for an estimated $20 million. This is the same Oscar de la Hoya calling Mayweather broke, someone who previously settled a personal case worth tens of millions and whose company recently defaulted on a $27 million commercial loan, a promoter who generated hundreds of millions in pay-per-view revenue and is now working through restructuring discussions to protect his headquarters. In the end, the public record on both sides tells a similar kind of story. High earnings, high spending, major financial obligations, and documents that often contrast with the public image. De la Hoya has never presented private financial records on Mayweather. His comments from 2018 to 2026 remain interpretations shaped by rivalry and public observation. But the available records, tax filings, liens, lawsuits, FAA documents, foreclosure notices, speak for themselves. And Floyd Mayweather's own legal actions argue that if money went missing, it wasn't done alone. Two fighters, one rivalry, and decades later, two parallel paper trails neither fully controls. This video is created strictly for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. It is based on publicly available information, media reports, and general commentary related to boxing. This content follows YouTube Fair Use Guidelines, Section 107, for criticism, commentary, and analysis. No part of this video is intended to defame, harm, or misrepresent any individual or organization. This video is made to update boxing audiences with unique and informative storytelling.